There are some very interesting theories out there that suggest that Jedi Master Plo Koon was the master of the Dark Jedi in Ahsoka known as Baylan Skoll. Now, I absolutely love this theory. The biggest reason that I love this theory is the fact that there are 3 Jedi that come to mind over the years, really, that I've always wanted to see more of. And we got a lot of in the Clone Wars, give or take which character, but Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, and Plo Koon. 3 guys I've always wanted to see more of. I think a lot of you have always wanted to see more of as well. And if this theory comes to life, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get more Plo Koon in, the Ahsoka show, because obviously he's dead. But it could suggest 2 things. One, just his name being brought up would be cool to hear that now in days in a Star Wars project. And it could open up the door to maybe a flashback, looking at a younger Baylan training with Plo Koon at the Jedi Temple, whatever it may be. And the reason this is such a big deal, and I think would be very interesting, even if it's just kind of a one-line thing that is said in some dialogue between Baylan and Ahsoka, is it just ups the ante of the whole situation that much more. And if you don't know why it ups the ante of the whole situation, well, I'm gonna tell you. Obviously, a lot of people know, but Plo Koon was the one who found Ahsoka, I believe when she was like 3 years old, and brought her to the Jedi Temple. People have described this relationship as like a father-daughter relationship between Plo Koon and Ahsoka Tano. These are 2 people who have fought side by side in the Clone Wars, and again, Plo was the one who introduced Ahsoka basically to this whole world she has been engulfed in her entire life. So there's a deep personal bond there between Plo Koon and Ahsoka, and if Baylan were just to bring up the name of Plo Koon, that's going to trigger some emotions inside of Ahsoka that's going to make that dialogue or make that battle, whatever we're going to see, that much more intense. In just 3 episodes, we only know so much about Baylan Skoll, and rest in peace Ray Stevenson, because he has played this role incredibly, and I wish he was around to see the reception he is getting, because Baylan and Shin, for that matter, have been incredible characters in just 3 episodes of the Ahsoka show. Their delivery has been on point. We are intrigued with their characters. It's just been great, man. I want to know more about both of them. But what we do know about Baylan is that he survived Order 66, escaped to the unknown regions, and has basically been there ever since, until whatever event or point triggered him to come out and basically become the man he is today. And obviously his lightsaber is orange. It's not blue or green or whatever it may have been during his days as a Jedi, and it's not Sith red either. People are describing Baylan as a dark Jedi with that orange lightsaber. So obviously something must have happened that switched Baylan's lightsaber to that. And to me, like, as people have said, he really doesn't seem like that bad of a guy in the show. He just seems like a guy where if you're gonna get in his way, he's gonna take care of you. As we saw in that opening scene, episode 1, he gave the dude a chance to move aside, and then when he didn't, then he put the lightsaber through his chest. Like, Baylan, and maybe even Shin for that matter, seem like they just do what they have to do to survive, and maybe that attitude is what has given Baylan his orange, and Shin their orange lightsabers, and kind of give us the reason to label them Dark Jedi, because they're not Jedi and they're certainly not Sith. And what that one event may have been for Baylan remains to be seen. Maybe just escaping Order 66 made him so delusioned with the Jedi Order that he almost kind of had a similarity with Ahsoka, with a sense that they just kind of had to go their own path outside of the Jedi, and for Baylan it just happened to be after the Jedi fell. And I think it'd be very interesting to hear him talk about the events that have happened to brought him to this place in his life. Go back and maybe see some of the flashbacks, possibly training with Plo Koon, possibly seeing where he escaped to after Order 66 and where he was for all this time. A lot of people believe, and I am in this camp as well, that Shin is his daughter, so maybe it was a sense where Baylan escaped Order 66, had some relationship, maybe his wife or whatever died by some attack, and maybe that attack really triggered some feelings in Baylan to make him feel like, I have to do any means necessary to protect my daughter and protect myself, and that is what triggered that Dark Jedi, that orange lightsaber. And as for Plo Koon, man, like, I don't think this is just out of the realm of possibility. Again, yeah, it might just be a line that is said in dialogue or a flashback, but like, that's Dave Filoni's favorite Jedi. He's on record saying that Plo Koon is his favorite Jedi. And remember back in The Mandalorian Season 2, and I don't remember if it was beforehand or afterwards, but when it was coming out, what was actually in the script so they could hide the fact that Luke Skywalker was showing up in the Season 2 finale, they listed it as Plo Koon to throw everybody off. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, was working pretty heavily on The Mandalorian, at least in Season 2. And we have seen Dave Filoni pull in a lot of things from Legends, change him up a little bit. We just talked about this in the last video. He brought in Thrawn. He might be bringing in Starkiller. He's doing things that he's obviously a fan of, and doing things he knows the fans will be a fan of, and just change him a little bit if need be to make sense in current canon. So if Dave Filoni can find a way to introduce Plo Koon, or at least just bring him back to light in a sense, even if it's just for a moment, well, why wouldn't he? I would do the same thing. And listen, we're obviously going to see Baylan and Ahsoka fight. I believe we might have saw that in some of the early trailers. It's been so long since I've looked at them, but obviously they're going to come face to face at some point, and that is going to be the moment, if any, that we get some kind of revelation as to what Baylan's been doing, who he was with all those years ago. But as for Baylan's character, I gotta be honest, I do think he's gonna die this season. Honestly, like, it was probably in there regardless of what happened in real life with the actor. But as we saw, I believe it was at the end of episode 2 when he was talking to Morgan Elsbeth, she said, kill Ahsoka, basically. And in layman's terms, he basically said, I don't want to do that. There's so few Jedi left. He has a little bit of a soft spot in him for Ahsoka, for the Jedi. Or maybe it's not for the Jedi. Maybe it's specifically Ahsoka. Maybe the reason he has that little bit of a soft spot in him is because he knows the relationship between Ahsoka and Plo Koon. And if Plo Koon was his master, you see what I'm saying here. And I can honestly see Baylan dying this season by way of trying to maybe even save Ahsoka. Who kills him remains to be seen, but maybe we get to a point where Baylan ends up actually helping Ahsoka. Maybe Morgan Elsbeth kills Baylan, or just somebody kills Baylan. I don't know, but maybe Baylan's gonna go down turning to the light and helping Ahsoka because of some past relationship. And maybe Baylan turning back to the light is what turns Shin back to the light, because I can very much see her doing that as well. And I don't think Shin will die. Obviously, she's very young. She's probably like 25, 30 in the show, the most. Obviously young. I think that's going to be a character that's going to be around for a while. Yes, I have a pen right here. And I think that's a character that a lot of people are interested in. I don't think she's going to die. I think she'll be around for years to come, and I'm all about it. Outside of the memes, Shin baddie, all that stuff, she is honestly a very interesting character, and she has played her role to perfection. Very stoic, very to the point, getting down to business, doing what she needs to do, which just plays into everything we already said. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what is next for Shin. But this Plo Koon theory, man, it's just a theory, but I think could very much be a possibility. Baylan might have been there when Plo Koon found Ahsoka and brought her to the Jedi Temple. Again, just making the stakes feel all much more important and really creating that relationship between Baylan to Plo to Ahsoka. Either way, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to happen, not just next week, but with the rest of the Ahsoka show. I am loving this show so far, from the acting to the music. Everything about this show, I am just such a big fan of. Literally, it's like Rebels Season 5, a love letter to Rebels fans. Feels like Star Wars, all the same. Love this show so far. Can't wait for next week and the rest of the season. Really, really want to hear from you guys today with this theory. Let me know down below in the comments. Do you think it is a legit possibility that Plo Koon was the master of Baylan's skull? And do you think we will see just some kind of flashback, or Baylan talking about possibly who his master was in general in future Ahsoka episodes? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe as well, and go follow me across all social medias at NoahNation Vlogs, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
This is Rogue 2. This is Rogue 2. Commander Skywalker, do you copy? This is Rogue 2.